How's the world treating you?
Excuse me?
How's the world treating you?
Oh, all right. Yeah, yeah. How about yourself, Miss Busy Bee?
Yeah, you say, oh, I think I'll start teaching. Like, it's
That's
awesome.
it. That's the good news, right?
That's right. That's exactly what I keep saying. Okay, today, this is all I can get done.
Yeah, yeah. I tell myself that too. I'm only human. I can only do so much.
Right. Well, and you love what you're doing and all that stuff, and then it's like, wow. So how's it being back to practice?
Um, it is good, but different. We can't be efficient like we used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Um, because everything takes so long. The drop off, the whole procedure, um, then the cleaning before and after. So we can't, we used to be able to see multiple patients the same hour because, I'd go from one room and then leave them and then do the other room. But we can't do that now. Somebody's always got to stay with the pet because, it's curbside only now.
Right.
So it's taking longer, but in some ways it's kind of nice um, because sometimes we can get more done. I hate to say it.
Oh, where'd your sound go? Mm-mm. Still. Mm. You're self-muted, huh? No, that's not doing it. It's like your speaker went out. You're like, where'd it go?
Let me try plugging it in.
Right there. Right there. Whatever you just did.
Okay. I think I may have gone to the section of my house that isn't quite as receptive, perhaps.
Well, we're thinking about it. And then it's like, no.
Can
Yeah,
you hear me now, Cindy?
I can.
Okay.
It's like you moved to that area and it was like all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's gone.
Yeah. So I guess I couldn't. I don't usually do Zooms in the other room, but I thought, oh, the fan's on over there. So, but I guess I'll come back here.
Like, that's not nice. Well, meditation, you're not supposed to be totally comfortable because you'll go to
Right.
sleep.
Oh, that's happened in yoga sometimes when we, at the end, or actually in the middle, sometimes we'll hold a pose and then next thing you know, you hear somebody snoring.
That's very true. It
So,
doesn't take long because their subconscious says, oh, here, let me take over.
yeah.
You're out.
In some ways, I kind of envy people who can do that, who could just lay their head down and they're out.
Yeah. It's a, well, it's a form of relaxation and being able to say, okay, I'm relaxing now. Boop.
Yeah. I guess to be able to turn it on and off like that, I'm kind of envious
Yeah.
being a
Well,
light
maybe
sleeper.
today. Maybe today you'll get some tips.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
like,
I think, good health is really sleep, good sleep is good health.
it absolutely is.
Yeah.
It's like enough water,
Mhm.
exercise.
Right. The basic needs.
Yeah, just the basics. And we've been forced to pay attention to those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I often think my dad did so well for as long as he did because he's a good sleeper. He used to joke when he was a kid he fell asleep once in choir practice standing up. I don't know how he did that, but he did. So I was like, wow.
Wow, that's a serious,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. He can fall asleep wherever. And
wow.
he went through a lot in his life, famine, starving, war. So I can't even imagine. I just sometimes I think we take it for granted. I think about like going to another country where the language isn't great. People, obviously
Right.
don't treat you great, and then you raise a family and you know basically successfully work your way through the society and life, and that's really it's really something.
Staying very focused on what he's trying to get done.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's also a very good charmer. You know, he knows how to talk to people and just bring out the best in people in some ways, I guess. I mean, he had the other side too, which wasn't good, but um,
Yeah.
he could definitely. He's very quick on his feet. You know, good with his words, which is not me. So
Oh, I don't know about that.
I'm not quick on my feet like he is. You know what I mean? So
You have some of your other, you have your own charms.
yes, I have my own, you know, strengths, shall we say?
Magic.
But
You have your own magic.
yeah, we all have our own thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
so definitely those two things were not me, are not me, and I've come to accept that.
Maybe yet. Maybe yet. You never know.
So and you know what? We're all here to walk. What's it? It's our own journeys.
Right. Learn what we're going to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Isn't it? It's really, and it's been very interesting just for me because so many people want to come back and see me in person.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't know about that.
It might be a while.
Yeah.
It's
Well, Mark
pretty
has,
amazing. Yeah, you have the
Mark's
option.
decided to go on a vacation.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's going to be gone
Oh,
for the 11 days.
where's he going?
He is going hiking up in the mountains. So
Oh,
he won't really be available at all.
oh,
So, but then when he comes back, he has to quarantine.
oh.
So,
You're not going to go with him then? Because hiking is probably.
my doctor has said no.
Better not.
You have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
You would have to stay in other places,
right.
and you have to go to restaurants.
Oh, that's true.
And
Yeah.
he said all of those are points of exposure. So
Yeah.
the answer's no.
Well, if you need anything, Cindy, I'm around, you know.
Well, I may call and talk to you about that because
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
something happens, you know,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Where's he
"Uh-oh,
going? When's he going?
the 16th of July through the 26th.
Okay.
I'll call you.
Okay.
Outside of this, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's that same kind of thing where I was like, my life hasn't really changed much with this whole thing. It's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go any places.
Yeah. But I mean, what a time to have a place on the most beautiful, you know, beautiful view. I mean, I think of your place so much. I'm like, oh. So,
Well, that's exactly. I'm like, why do you need to go up in the mountains? Okay, fine.
maybe he wants some tree therapy, you know, get away from the same scene.
He really, well, he loves Bar Harbor, so I'm sure that's where he's going to end up. But
Yeah. I don't blame him. You know, even my kung fu instructor, they rented a campground this weekend, I guess, and so they were up there. You know, and it's one of those, like, literally just you bring your tents. There's nothing there, no water, no, you know, anything.
General Larry Chen. Yeah, I can't even imagine. There's General Larry Chen.
Hello.
Hi. Are you muted?
No, but
There you
I see
are.
a tail.
That's right. I was going to say, Jen, meet Jenny. Jenny, meet Jen.
Aw.
Mrs. Daisy.
Hi, Daisy. What a great name.
Jen was the Animal Energy Program Coordinator.
I remember.
Jenny is a vet.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you used to work at Countryside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
So, you moved though, right? Didn't you move?
I did. Yeah, I'm in Illinois. We're in Illinois now.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
That's a big journey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like Illinois?
It's different, but you know, it's
She's very nice.
yeah. I mean, it's a good experience, right? You know, you learn to grow and change, and
Yeah. I lived in
Really?
Indiana for a while, so that was a big change for me.
Yeah.
There's Millie. Hi, she's the shadow in the dark.
Hello.
There she is. Hi, how are you?
Good.
She's in the dark.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out.
It's because the sun is the windows behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm trying to multitask right now.
You're supposed to be, we're going to be meditating. You can't multitask in meditation. Millie.
Gotta get it done before time.
Too funny.
Hmm,
Oh, like,
there we go.
oh, here we come. This is Nancy, a new person to me. Oh, there she is. The lighting's good. Says she's connecting. You know what I was going to tell you, Jenny? Jenny. Let's see, it was August. She's still connecting. August. There it is. Oh, she disappeared.
I'm still here.
Okay. The Energy Mastery you wanted to sign up for?
Yeah.
The second date's going to be August 16th.
Okay.
Will that work for you?
Let me check. August 16th, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically a month after the other class.
Yeah, looks like it's open for me.
Okay. So I will be sending invites.
Okay.
And Jenna Chin, are you coming to the interview?
I
You
haven't.
weren't really sure?
Yeah, I haven't completely decided yet. Is that okay?
Well, what I was going to ask is, would it be better if you came, if it was a month later? Would that be better for you? Because I know you're trying to recover from
Right.
something.
Yeah, that might be. Yeah, that might
Yeah.
work better. Give me a little, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
then that's what I'll do is I'll put you and Jenny
What was
and
the
Jen.
date?
It was August, what did I just say?
August 16th, Sunday.
August 16th. Okay.
16. Okay,
Thank you.
that's great.
Thank you. And Caitlin will have fun.
Nancy, are you here? Oh, we're gonna have a blast. We're
Yeah.
gonna unmute
Okay.
her. Hello, Nancy.
Hi.
Oh, there you
Hi
are.
there.
It's okay. I did my hair too, so we're good. Totally fun. Good. Let's see. We'll wait another minute or two. Cool. Millie's here. Valerica usually shows up in a moment or two. Cool. Nancy, I think you signed up for the Energy Mastery too, right?
Yes, I
Also?
did. Yes.
Well, we've had such a wonderful response that the classes, the one in July, has gotten too big. So we're going
Okay.
to do another class in August. And I was just sharing with these guys, the 16th. Would you be able to do August 16th?
I think so. Yeah, I can put that down. That would be better.
Awesome. Okay, great. Because what I'll do is I'll send out, Caitlin and I just decided yesterday.
Okay.
And this is Valerica. There she is. Great. Fabulous.
That's good because by August you'll have practice and we'll get the refinement. Right?
That's right. And my hair will be longer. That's so fun. All right, so I'm going to start recording. Do you want to stop? Oh, no. It says I'm already recording. That's good. We'll have to clear out the first part of it. Okay. Welcome, everybody. We have a new face, Nancy, so new to us. Valerica's here. And then we have Millie, you're like the number one person that's carrying the theme through the whole last 5 classes. And then Jen from Chicago. And then, of course, Jenny is being able to come for the first time, not having to work tonight. So fabulous. So we're going to be talking about meditation. And what I'd love for you to do for me during this time, if you think of other topics you would like next month is Animal World. I'm going to be talking about different topics in the animal world because I also treat animals. But then come August, I'll be ready to introduce some different topics again. And one of the ones that came through on the crystal class was a topic on crystal shapes. Okay, that'd be fun and easy. But if you have other thoughts, you can either share at the end when we're talking or even send me an email if you have other thoughts. Curiosity, things that you're like, could you talk about this? That would be great. So we have 14 people signed up. I know 3 people aren't going to be able to come, so we might be interrupted a little bit, but we'll see. So I'm going to share the handout. I am recording it. Anyone who came last week for the color one, I'm not sure what is going on in the Zoom world, but they have several copies of it. And I need some tech support to figure out which ones do I delete because they only let you have so much iCloud space. So I'll get it figured out eventually. My IT guy lives here. It's my husband, so I'm trying. There we go. Okay, so let me show you the handout for today. And it is here. Okay. So the reason meditation, and I picked it, was because it is probably the number one thing everyone tells me they can't do it. I can't meditate. And I bumped into meditation when I was like 15 or 16. I read an article in a magazine. I thought it was really interesting. And that started almost 50 years later, me playing with meditation until I have found what creates for me what it says here in this definition. It's a practice, a technique like mindfulness or object to train your attention and your awareness. And here's the key part of meditation. It helps to achieve a stable state. And then there's your mental clarity and emotional calmness. So the more you practice, the more you feel that mental clarity and emotional calmness. So those are the benefits of it. I wouldn't say it comes in a day or two. And there are days after all these years of me meditating, I would say that it's still hard. So what I do, being the person that I am, is I toss one of these things in to the mix so that I can keep it fresh, but keep moving forward. So the first 2, select a location and select a position. The location is a place within your home, usually, that you will not be disturbed. So, for instance, if you have animals, the animal would need to be able to lie down quietly. Doesn't mean they don't want to be there, but it's more about their ability to be quiet and not a distraction. Because we have a lot of distractions in our world, right? So the location needs to be one where you will not be interrupted. So here in my home right now, I meditate in my office, and I pick a time. I feed my cats at 6 a.m. and I go in and practice at 7 a.m. because my husband's not up and my cats are all happy. So I've picked my location, my time, that I'm not going to be interrupted. So that's a really important piece just to get you started. You don't want to have it in a main traffic area. Now, position. A lot of people think they have to sit, cross-legged, look like the Buddha, all that kind of stuff. That's not necessarily the key. That's, of course, a fantastic position, but I actually use a kneeling bench, and they have very specific, so you kneel and you sit. Then the next place you can look at is a nice chair. And the chair can have arms on it so that you can have good posture and you're supported. And then John Kabat-Zinn, for instance, who is very well known for mindfulness, he has you lay down. So you have lots of choices, and the key piece is you want to be comfortable, but you don't want to be so comfortable that you sleep. Because sleeping, of course, isn't exactly what you're wanting to do. And I'm going to talk a little bit about when different types of meditation styles. And I practice a lot of different ones. So your posture can be any one of more of a traditional yoga, cross-legged. The kneeling bench one is not as traditional, but it is a modification for people who have hip problems. And it also, both of them allow you to keep your posture straight up. So your spine is straight, but a comfortable straight. A chair allows the same thing, but they don't usually want you leaning back against the chair. They're looking for you to have a reminder so that you don't slouch. And of course, laying down allows you to have a straight back. So those are all, but you want to pick which one supports you the best, which one is possible, which one's practical. So my example is that my morning practice is I kneel on my bench. My midday practice, I am laying down with my knees bent and I'm doing guided imagery. And then at nighttime, when I go to bed, I may start out that way, and the type of meditation that I'm doing is also guided imagery, but it's a different type of, or different style. And what I'm doing is most of the time I'm doing breath work with the guided, the person who's speaking. And then sometimes I'm able to follow the imagery, and sometimes I go to sleep. And my idea is that is my conscious mind needs to get out of the way so that my subconscious can learn something in a way. So those are the three, but each one of the positions and each one of is for a specific type and a specific benefit. If you have questions, please feel free to ask, because we've got a small enough group that we can pull that off. So location and position. Those are the two first things. And try them all. I've tried them all. Seeing which one I can prop myself up. Like if you go to yoga, they got all those little props and different things so that you might be able to achieve a particular position that you want. So the next two, notice they say ritual. These are to tell your energy, your mind, your spiritual self, your subconscious, whatever words feel the right one for you, that you're getting ready to sit down and you're going to be focused on your attention and your awareness. But it's a subconscious message. You want to use some form of light. So I put two examples here, incense and or a candle. Both of them you want to make sure that you have set up so you're not concerned about forgetting them or leaving them lit. So my incense, for instance, is in a tray that's like a size of a dinner plate. And then I have a small votive in the middle of it with some rice in it. And that's what I stick my incense in. So that as the incense burns and drops off, it's dropping into a plate. It's not dropping onto a surface so that I have to worry about ambers or any of that. And then the candles is the same idea. It's really important to have some kind of enclosure so that if the candle drips, it's dripping inside something. You're not worried about it. That's important. So this is where tea candles are fantastic. Little tea candles. I have two votive holders. One is a rose quartz, and then you just drop a little tea light in it, and the other is Himalayan salt. So either one of them is great, but the key piece is, again, it's always sitting on my altar. And then I light that. The next one is showing some form of respect. So there are three examples here so my practice is Tibetan. So I do prostrations. Bring my hands together. I touch third eye. I touch my lips. I touch my heart. And I do that 3 times and I go down and I touch my forehead to the ground. So it's a way of showing respect. If you were raised Catholic, you went into a church, you genuflected. That was a way of saying, oh, okay, I'm here. And another one that's very much in the yoga world is the hands come together and you say namaste. You can choose whatever way you want to show respect to your practice. So now we have a location. You know how you're going to sit, lay down, kneel. You've lit a candle and you've said a prayer. Or you've showed respect of some sort. So now that probably took what? Maybe a minute to complete that. And you think, wow, but it sounds complicated. It's just making the decision these are a way to hold the container for a meditation. So if you think, okay, I can give meditation 10 minutes. Well, you're going to use, in these first 4, you may use 2 minutes. Settle into your location, you get into your position, you light your candle, you find some form of way of saying, okay, I'm here. I've seen it as a post, oh, hi God, it's me again. And that may be your way. And that's all fine, but you want to find your way to connect with God or yourself or whatever you believe in, Buddha, the divine, all of those are the good places, but you want to be able to say, hi, I'm checking in. And then the 5th one is opening prayer. So my opening prayer is Dei Chin, and it's a chant. And it's basically, I'm saying to all the spiritual teachers, hey, I've come, I've lit my candle, I've showed my respect, and now what am I doing? I'm going to chant this, thank you, and I appreciate all the guidance you give me. So it's a chanting. And if you need me to do the chanting, just to give you an example, I don't mind doing that, but it's up to you guys. Doesn't make me uncomfortable. But you want to think about what your opening prayer is. So if you were I was raised Catholic. I don't practice that now, but you might say the Our Father. You might say the Hail Mary. So you want to think about what would be a prayer that says, okay, let me do this. And that may take another minute or two to say. So now you've got maybe 5 minutes involved in your practice. It's perfect. Now, notice number 6 is my favorite part. This is where you pick and choose. What do you want? What sounds like fun? What do you want to try? I put chanting here first. I do a lot of chanting because the chanting I'm doing is Tibetan. So needless to say, my English speaking mind can't talk because I'm speaking and chanting in another language. Very powerful way to help stop those thoughts because they're in English and I'm not thinking in English. I'm thinking and speaking in Tibetan. Very, very powerful way. When people tell me they have mind chatter, I'm like, you need to start chanting. And you don't have to do Tibetan. You could do Om, right? Om is a really popular one. That's very easy. Diva Premal has her precarious mantras for precarious times. Fantastic. You can download it off of YouTube. It's easy. She does, I think there's 8 different mantras, and she does them for a mala. So that's the string of beads. She'll do the 108. So you can do it with her or you can just listen. It's really easy and a great way to, again, stop the chatter. So chanting is fabulous.
What was her name again, Cindy?
Diva Premal, Premal. But you can also put in its mantras for precarious times. It's a really amazing group. She does a lot. You can see her on YouTube a lot. She does a lot of things with like Krishna Das, and it's really, she's got a really great voice too. Yeah. So that's chanting. You don't have to do it, but you can experiment. That was basically how I found chanting, is through my Tibetan practice. But then of course it opened up everything. I started going onto YouTube and I started going into my iTunes account and started to see what they had in there. So chanting is fabulous. The next is reading. And so what I do, you guys can see this. This is Pema Chodron's little pocket. And it just has a short little reading in it. And what I do with these is, so this is Pema. This is a great one. It is affirmations to celebrate the human journey. It's called Life Prayers. Of course, Thich Nhat Hanh, you can't go wrong without him. He's awesome. And then this is my newest one. It's Mark Nepo, N-E-P-O, The Book of Awakening. And it's 365 days. And there's a reading. And what I do with each one of them is I read it and then I think, okay, what's the one thing that I can take away with that? Whatever the sentence might be, the guidance for the day, the thought for the day. So the readings can be inspiration, they can be contemplative, they can help you reboot if you're feeling really grouchy that day, and you can think of all your gratitude. And then I wrote the word journaling. So This is just my journal that I'm using right now. So it's really a special one, but one of the things I would say, I'm trying to find, okay, this might show you. See how I've got it in different color inks? So I have those pens, bunch of different colored pens, and I write in different colors to make sure that when I'm flipping back through it, that I can take that contemplation and remind myself. So for instance, if I write it in different colors and I think, wow, I think that word silence has come up a bunch of times. I can flip back through because it's in different colors. I'm like, oh, there it is there. Oh, there it is there. Oh. So I take that as a clue in that my practice needs to have more silence in it. Because my mind is very busy. The more silence I practice, the quieter it'll be. I'm not chasing it so much, especially using the chanting too. So those are some options, and you don't have to do either one of them, the reading or the chanting. But the core practice, this Insight Timer is it's an app. I love it. Again, I hope you can see that. Has a little bowl, you can set it up. You set how long you want your meditation to be. And I'm just gonna, and that starts my practice. And then it's set for, it has interval bells. You can have sound going through the whole time. And then it has an ending bell. And you can change that, and it's free. So that's the name of it, Insight Timer. But you can go on to your apps, and there I think are the top 3. Calm is one of them. Insight Timer is the other one. I can't remember what the third one is, but they're free, and they have podcasts, and someone will do a short time. I've learned so much in listening to these different imageries. Some of them are podcasts. Yeah, some of them are just guided. Like there'll be some music. There might be a word or two. And then I can set it up for how much time I want to do it. It's very helpful in creating variety, which many times people's minds get where they're like, okay, this is really boring, which is our mind. We have to watch that mind part, right? So that's one way you can pick and choose. And then the next way is object meditation. And I use this a lot. Object meditation is basically you're staring at an object. So I have my bottle of water. And I'm looking at the object, and I'm looking at the object, and I'm looking at the object, and I'm like, okay, I've got this memorized. And I close my eyes. And as long as I can maintain that image of the bottle of water, I keep my eyes closed. The moment I can't hang on to that vision, I open my eyes and I look again. And I do the same thing. It's very simple. I look at it and I look at it and I memorize it, and then I close my eyes. Hold on to the image, hold on to the image, hold on to the image. Oh, there it goes. Open my eyes again. So you do it 3 times. After 3 times, you've done enough. Now, if each try is 10 seconds, that's what it is. But the idea, remember at the very beginning, is that we're wanting to train our attention and our awareness. So each time you'll be surprised that your ability to stay with that object gets longer and longer. Because the idea, again, notice stable state. Your mind becomes more stable and you're more able to maintain an image. Doesn't have to be a bottle of water. It can be the candle that you lit. So it's a very simple way, and you can do anything. You can use a flower, you can use a rock, you can use a photo. Just pick whatever is meaningful to you. The next thing that you can do is you can follow your breath. So following your breath is very similar to an object meditation, except you're going to pick where you're going to follow your breath. You can follow it as it goes in and out your nose. You can follow it and decide you're going to breathe in and out of your mouth. You can follow it as your chest rises and falls. Makes no difference. Just pick one of the locations, and when you find your mind going off, then you go, oh, okay, come back to the breath. Then, so you keep it pretty simple. And that's why I like the Insight Timer, because then I can say, okay, I'm going to do a breath meditation today. And I'm going to set it for however long that might be. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you get to pick. And then it'll tell you how often you've done that consecutively. It's pretty nice. So it tells you, oh, you were able to do 11 minutes yesterday, so maybe you should try for 15. Or maybe you could do 7. So you that way you get to, the only person that you have to keep track with is you. So I do a lot of breath work too. This is part of my own practice. And so the next one is breath work as in pranayama. I can't even tell you the number of YouTube videos that are out there on these. And they're all about the breath being your life force and you being able to manage it. So Ujjayi, I put 2 examples. There are many pranayamas, but these are the 2 that to me are the simplest. So Ujjayi is, it's called the ocean sound. And the way you do it is you tip your head down. You want to sit up nice and tall, and you just want to listen for this sound because you want to be able to create it. So you notice that the sound is, so you play with the tongue at the back of the mouth and on the throat, and tipping the head allows you to access. And what that does is another form of object meditation. But it also, because it's so focused, it helps you do a purification of your lungs. Ujjayi. Dirga, for instance, is called the 3-part breath. You're bringing in the breath, and you bring it in all the way to your belly, and then you bring your chest, and then you do your shoulders, and then you're exhaling. So it's very focused breath work. And when you do that, again, you're not thinking about your grocery list. You're only thinking about the breath. And again, that goes back to the goal of meditation. So and then the last thing is closing ritual. So I'm going to stop the share part so that I can. So the closing ritual is whatever helps you say, okay, I'm all done. Whatever that is. So for me, I have a dedication prayer. And it's in Tibetan. So again, it's very solid. I'm just going to give you an idea. Go samdang pejewagang jaipa. And so that's in English. all the pure virtues that I have achieved through the 3 doors, body, speech, and mind. So I'm basically saying I've done a purification practice, and I'm really hoping that it informs everything else, right? And then I do prostrations to finish it. So all of it is, here's the container starting it, and here's the container to finish it. Because now my practice is probably anywhere from an hour, hour and a half. I spend time quiet. I spend time doing a lot of chanting. Because like I said, my mind is very busy. So what you want to think about is, okay, I'm going to give myself 15 minutes. Here's the beginning. This is what I'm going to do at the beginning. This is what I'm going to do at the end. And then you get to play in the middle. And that's the really important part, is what is it that really helps you to leave your practice feeling stable, right? That's what we're all looking for, that we're not, cuckoo when we get out of our house or, on the phones or whatever our job is, or that we feel like, okay, I may not like that, but I feel okay inside about it. So questions, thoughts. Yes, Valerica.
When do you make the sound during the ujjayi?
It goes from the beginning. It's like moment you tip you can start with the breath, because it's all going through your mouth. But one of the things that I found is every once in a while I go in and go through YouTubes, and I will Google it and stuff like that. And there's so many different teachers. The one that made the most sense to me was the one that said, if you're making this sound and you're doing it with the head of this position and you're upright and you're breathing, then you're doing ujjayi. Now, whatever anybody else says, those are particular styles.
Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes I'll do the breath at the very beginning because I need to settle my inside. And sometimes I do it towards the end. So it has different effects, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Does anybody, who has meditation practices? Yeah? What do you do?
I do transcendental meditation.
Oh, yeah, TM. Mm-hmm.
And I found that if I don't allow myself a couple of minutes to end it, after I stop the mantra, if I don't allow a couple of minutes to bring myself back, I'm all screwed up the whole day.
Right.
It's like sometimes I'm so agitated, it's like I've never meditated. So it's the ending is also very important to me.
That's right. It's a container.
Yes.
Totally. And especially with TM. Does everybody know TM? Do you want to explain it, Valerica? I mean, I know, but it's your practice.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead? I think.
The short part of it is that the practitioner, the meditation practitioner, is given a mantra that they use in their practice, and it is given to them by the teacher. I mean, that's basically, and then that's what they use for their practice. I mean, that's a short story, but do you have anything else you would add?
We are not supposed to share that mantra.
Right. It's your vibration from your teacher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically during the meditation, you just, when you allow the thoughts to just go like in a movie, but
right.
Then when you notice that mantra is gone, you just bring gently the mantra back.
Exactly.
And it's really relaxing. I feel like my brain is opening up and it's stretching out. And some connections I had were incredible. But then again, at the end, if I don't allow myself to basically bring everything back, that's how I feel, like bring back my brain in my scalp. then my energy field is out of balance. Basically, that's what it is.
Right. Well, and it's the container of the beginning and the end. And everybody needs that. It's like cooking dinner. You have to get all the ingredients together and then you have to clean up the kitchen. Otherwise, everything's a mess, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same idea for the focus of your attention and your awareness. Yeah. No, it's a good call. And I think, Millie, you said you also have a practice.
Breath work, like the ones that you were talking about. Body scans and loving kindness. It's usually a variation of all three.
Right. Because that's whatever's up for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those are very good. How about you, Jen? Because you said maybe.
Yeah, well, I do the loving kindness as well, and then I do an expanded version of the metta. A friend of mine gave me a book called Loving Kindness Meditations, and there's a few different kinds.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I've been doing that.
That's very powerful. It's a metta is something I give out a lot.
Yeah.
May I be at peace. May my heart remain open. It's wishing, because the metta is all about, not only am I wishing it for myself, but I'm also wishing it for the people I love, the people I'm having difficulty with, the world. So it's really wishing it for everyone. That's very loving kindness.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think that
You'll have to
resonates.
send me a picture of the book. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I was thinking of you the other day when I was reading it. Yeah.
I love all that. That's really great. Cool. And Nancy, you said you don't have anything like a practice?
I don't. I always want to, but then I don't make time for it.
The time is the key.
Distracted or get on my phone and
Whatever it is, right? Find your spot. Sit there, light your candle. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Jen?
Well, I wanted to ask, so I guess energetically, I wondered about meditation's meaning, because I don't quote formally meditate, but every day or every night I usually do the Reiki.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so is that a meditation? You know what I mean? I don't light a candle, but I do connect with the divine and I do what I do. So I'm not sure if that counts. Like, I wasn't sure. So I was like, because it seems to me like meditation is somewhat of an establishing of a connection between a higher vibration and yourself to some degree. And that if
Or it's an internal practice. It's because some people don't believe in a divine or a God or and that's all fine.
Yeah. So I just wonder about
yeah, Reiki is absolutely a practice.
Yeah, I just didn't know about the physical and the energetic spirit, if you will. And that's why if you don't set up a formal beginning and end, you're messed up because you've disconnected this. I feel like in some ways you're a little bit dissociating from your physical a little bit.
In what?
To line up, so to speak.
You mean in meditation or in doing Reiki?
No, in all, but in meditation, you're lining up with a higher vibration, shall we say, God, whatever. Maybe you don't believe in that yourself, then, and that if you don't have that container set up, that's why you're messed up, because it's like all of a sudden you don't
give yourself time, like Valerica was saying.
Yeah. So I wondered if
you could totally, I mean, that's part of the teaching in Reiki, is that you have Gaso, and Gaso is the beginning.
Right. And then at the end, there's an ending,
Right.
So I just didn't know.
There's your container right there.
Right. I mean, I'm not doing anything in between in terms of journaling and we're thinking consciously of breath, but I'm thinking about it. I'm focusing other things, I guess.
Totally. Well, and that's the piece that I was hoping to share is that if you have a beginning and you have an end, anything in the middle works. And it doesn't have to be a long period of time, but you do, and you know, not picking on you, Nancy, but that's perfect to say, I just don't give myself the time. And if you do, just set yourself, like I set myself very specifically, feed the cats at this time. I go in my door, I close the door at 7. Mark, my husband, knows. Until I come out of the door, I'm not done. So
Unless
I
the house
really-
is on fire.
Unless the house is on fire, and it better be on fire. But it's that idea of really setting aside and respectfully for yourself. It's really loving yourself enough to do it. It's hard. And our world doesn't also encourage it.
Can I ask,
Absolutely.
for those of you that have done it and you, what difference has it made in your life? Has it made you feel more calm or centered, or how has it helped you overall? Like the benefit of you've seen? The biggest benefit, I would say.
Yeah. Well, all of you could answer. Go ahead, Valerica.
So I don't practice TM every day, unfortunately, but even though I don't practice every day, for me, it helped me to act and not to react. I take things the way they are. I totally get that nothing is certain. And I just, if something happens, I'm open to see what that would bring.
Mm-hmm.
Why did it happen? What's the meaning of it? What is next to come? I take people the way they are. I don't try to change anybody as I used to, you know.
It does help you to let go, right?
Yeah, I let go a lot of things, and even giving advice, which was my biggest forte, always giving advice because I knew better. Now I don't. I'm just watching and I'm being present. If people
Right.
need me, they know to ask.
That's awesome.
So yeah, for me, it made a big difference, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wonder if I would practice twice a day as I'm supposed to,
Right,
how
right.
much, how big of a difference, even bigger, would make in my life. Yes. So I definitely recommend, and there are so many different types of meditation, as you said.
Right.
Sometimes at night I do Ho'oponopono.
Oh,
And
that's fantastic.
Yes. And if I could add one more thing, I do Ho'oponopono for different organs also.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if I had too much coffee, that's not good for my liver. So then I do the Ho'oponopono and ask forgiveness to my liver. Or if I stay too much, walking too much or stuff like that, I do Ho'oponopono for my feet. So I find that really relaxing and connecting with my body.
That's an awesome one. Good job. How about you, Millie, Jenny, Jen? Share with Nancy benefits that you've found.
Quieter mind.
Quieter mind. Okay.
You don't have that chatter going on as much.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jen?
I don't know if you have animals, but I find that if, for example, you're going through a stressful time, whether it's for yourself or in the house or outside, if you just kind of sit, and whether it's the metta or if Reiki or some sort of energy work, and just sit and be present and practice that, it helps to calm them down. And then, like with the metta, after you practice it for some time, you can really start to feel like the ripple of, that higher vibration spreading out, into your community and your family and your loved ones, to try to help raise the vibration, which helps me feel better too.
Doing your part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Jenny? Do you have something you could share with Nancy that,
Yeah, I think I would agree with everything everyone else said. But for me, it was almost a subtle thing. Like you do it over time, and then I might find like situations that used to really get my adrenal glands going. Don't don't bother me anymore. Like the hugest shift I would say would be, and I hate to bring it up really, is that, you know, if somebody, at one point in my time, I had a client hurl like a racist insult at me, which is not uncommon for most of my life, but at that, it didn't bother me. I was like, sort of like, oh, well, you know, we have these other doctors, you can go see that. Like I was surprised, like I wasn't like hurt or really angry. I just was like, oh, well, you know, that's her feeling. So we're gonna, you know, and I just, I mean, it was a surprise for me, you know, like, oh, interesting. And so I find that the more, because I do fall off the wagon sometimes, but the more I can do it, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm doing this so that, you know, I'm not going to get upset about whatever. I'm not consciously thinking that, but that's what I find happens. Yeah. So things that would just set you off, or at least set me off, just didn't seem to bother me anymore. And I find actually it's very interesting that I call it the high maintenance clients. I seem to get along better with them for whatever reason. And, you know, everyone else is like, oh my gosh, Jen, do you want us to step in and rescue you? And I'm like, no, I'm good for now, you know? So it's just, so little things over time just sort of, you know, became obvious. But again, I wasn't doing anything in particular, thinking, oh, if I do this, this is going to thwart off angry clients and things like that. It didn't, you know, it just, that's the side effect, I guess.
Yeah. I think an overall for me, I've been doing it for so long, is I think as a child, I would have been a great ADD, ADHD kid. My mind is on super warp. I'm always thinking and creating. And most of the time it's pretty grounded, but it's like I'll have 25 projects going, which is great creativity, but you know, that's a little too much, right? The meditation helps me to say more single pointed focused, which is where Magic Mondays came from. I was like, I really want to share with people. Oh, I'm going to start doing Magic Mondays. Boom. And so now, like, not only am I enjoying sharing, I get to meet new people and I get to connect with people I don't get to see all the time. Like Jen lives in Chicago now. So it's like, it helps create the space, because that was Jenny, that was really good. It creates the space to let people be who they are, as well as yourself. So there's a lot of benefits. I still am pretty hyperactive. But with the meditation process, I think in folders now. And I choose the folder that I'm going to bring out and be focused on, and it's been very helpful, but it's not a today. Boop, magic. But it is, I think, very well worth it. And you get to experiment. So I would highly encourage it. Well, thank you guys. This was fun. I'm going to stop the recording part. If you don't, let's see, this is the recording piece.